April 1912. The world's largest and most luxurious passenger ship began its maiden voyage. People believed it was unsinkable. But within days, one of history's greatest maritime disasters would unfold.
Built with the latest engineering of its time, Titanic represented human ambition and innovation. Thousands of passengers boarded with dreams of a new life, unaware of the tragedy that lay ahead.
On the night of April 14, 1912, the pride of the White Star Line.
Construction of the Titanic began in 1909 at the Harland and Wolff shipyard in Belfast, Northern Ireland. More than 15,000 workers helped build what was then the largest moving object ever created by humans.
The construction of the RMS Titanic was an undertaking of unprecedented scale, employing thousands in a symphony of steel and steam.
Inside, Titanic was a symbol of unmatched luxury. It featured elegant dining halls, a magnificent grand staircase, swimming pools, libraries, and lavish cabins. Many believe such a masterpiece of engineering could never sink.
Isn't she magnificent? Truly the height of luxury.
It is quite breathtaking, Charles.
On April 10, 1912, Titanic departed from Southampton, England. Thousands gathered to witness the beginning of what many believed would be the greatest voyage in maritime history.
April 10th, 1912. The maiden voyage begins.
More than 2,200 people were on board. Wealthy businessmen, families, crew members, and immigrants all shared the same ship. Each carried different dreams, but none could imagine what the coming days would bring.
3 classes, bound for the new world, each carrying a dream of the future.
As Titanic crossed the North Atlantic, life on board seemed peaceful. Passengers enjoyed fine dining, music, and breathtaking ocean views. Everything appeared perfect, and confidence in the ship remained unshaken.
Calm before the storm.
During the voyage, several nearby ships transmitted warnings about dangerous icebergs ahead. The messages reached Titanic's wireless room, but the ship continued its course through the cold waters of the North Atlantic. On the night of April 14th, 1912, the sea was unusually calm. Just before midnight, the lookout spotted a massive iceberg directly ahead. They immediately rang the warning bell and alerted the bridge, but only seconds remained.
Iceberg! Right ahead!
The crew tried to avoid the collision, but it was too late. Titanic struck the iceberg along its starboard side, damaging multiple watertight compartments. What seemed like a minor impact would soon become one of history's greatest maritime disasters.
Keep calm, everyone. Women and children first. Sir, we need more order over here. Hurry along now, quickly, quickly.
After the collision, the seriousness of the damage quickly became clear. Water was entering several compartments, and the crew realized that the ship's pumps could not stop the flooding. The Titanic was in serious danger.
Captain Edward Smith and his officers understood that the situation was critical. Orders were given to prepare the lifeboats and alert the passengers. The evacuation had begun, but there was a serious problem. Titanic did not carry enough lifeboat spaces for everyone on board. The crew began uncovering the lifeboats and preparing them for launch. Orders were given across the decks, while many passengers were still unaware of how serious the situation had become. Passengers were awakened and told to put on life jackets and move toward the boat deck. Some were confused. Others believed the situation was only temporary. Few understood that they were witnessing the beginning of a disaster that would become famous around the world. The first lifeboats were prepared for launch. officers tried to maintain order and follow the evacuation procedure. But many passengers were still reluctant to leave the Titanic, believing the enormous ship was safer than the small boats. One of the early lifeboats left the ship with fewer people than it could safely carry. At the time, many passengers did not realize how quickly the situation would deteriorate. Every minute was becoming more important. As more lifeboats were prepared, the atmosphere on the ship changed. The crew worked to maintain order while passengers gathered on the deck. Some still believed the Titanic would survive, but the ship was continuing to sink. As the evacuation continued, the difference between calm and panic became increasingly difficult to maintain. Crew members tried to keep passengers organized while lifeboats were lowered into the darkness one after another.
As the danger became undeniable, Titanic's wireless operators began sending distress signals. The message was clear. The ship needed immediate assistance. Operators worked continuously, hoping another vessel was close enough to respond.
Several ships received Titanic's distress messages. The nearby Carpathia turned toward the disaster, but it was still hours away. On Titanic, the clock was moving forward, and the available time was running out. The evacuation continued through the cold night. More lifeboats were lowered into the Atlantic, but the ship still held hundreds of people. Crew members continued working as quickly as they could. As time passed, the Titanic sat increasingly low in the water. The reality of the disaster was becoming impossible to ignore. For those still aboard, the night had become a desperate race against time.
After receiving Titanic's distress call, the Carpathia turned toward the disaster at full speed. Its crew prepared to rescue survivors, but the distance meant that help could not arrive immediately.
Back on Titanic, the situation was becoming increasingly desperate. The ship's bow was lower in the water, and more passengers were being directed toward the remaining lifeboats. The final stages of the evacuation were approaching. As the night continued, Titanic's bow sank deeper into the Atlantic. The remaining passengers were directed toward the upper decks, while the crew continued launching the final lifeboats. The ship was running out of time. In the early hours of April 15, Titanic's final moments arrived. The enormous ship could no longer remain afloat. Its story, which had begun with extraordinary confidence and celebration, was coming to a tragic end.
As dawn approached, the darkness of the night slowly gave way to daylight. Lifeboats carrying survivors remained scattered across the cold Atlantic, waiting for the rescue ship to arrive.
The Carpathia finally reached the survivors. Its crew began bringing people aboard, one lifeboat at a time. After hours of uncertainty and fear, rescue had finally arrived.
With the survivors safely aboard, Carpathia began its journey toward New York. The ship carried hundreds of people whose lives had been changed forever by the events of that night.
News of the disaster spread rapidly around the world. Newspapers printed dramatic headlines. Families waited anxiously for information. And the sinking of Titanic became an international story almost overnight. After the disaster, investigators began asking difficult questions. How could a ship considered so advanced have been lost? Attention quickly turned to the iceberg warnings, the evacuation process, and the ship's safety procedures. One major issue became clear. Titanic had lifeboat capacity for only a portion of everyone aboard. The disaster exposed serious weaknesses in maritime safety rules and led to major changes in how passenger ships were regulated.
The Titanic disaster forced governments and shipping companies to reconsider maritime safety. The tragedy showed that existing rules were not enough for the growing size and complexity of modern passenger ships.
Wireless communication also became a major focus. Continuous radio watches and faster emergency communication were recognized as essential for ships at sea. The lessons of Titanic would influence international maritime safety for generations.
For decades, the location of Titanic's wreck remained a mystery. Then, in September 1985, a joint American-French expedition finally located the wreck deep beneath the North Atlantic. The images revealed a haunting discovery. Titanic was resting on the ocean floor, divided into major sections and surrounded by the darkness of the deep sea. The discovery gave historians a remarkable opportunity to study the ship and understand what happened. Since the wreck was discovered, scientists and historians have continued to study Titanic. Sonar, underwater cameras, and other technologies have revealed new information about the ship and the conditions surrounding its final voyage. But the wreck is slowly changing. Decades beneath the ocean have allowed natural processes to weaken the ship's remaining structure. For researchers, every expedition is also a race to preserve what can still be learned from Titanic. More than a century after the disaster, Titanic remains one of the most studied and remembered ships in history. Books, museums, documentaries, and photographs have kept the story alive for generations. Titanic became more than a shipwreck. It became a symbol of human ambition, technological confidence, loss, and the importance of learning from history. The lessons of Titanic changed maritime safety forever. Ships became subject to stricter lifeboat requirements, improved communication procedures, and better systems for monitoring dangerous waters. International cooperation also became more important. Today, ships at sea operate within a much more developed network of communication, navigation, and emergency response systems. Behind the statistics were real people. Families, workers, travelers, and crew members, each with their own hopes and stories. Remembering Titanic means remembering the people whose lives were connected to that voyage. More than a century later, Titanic is remembered not simply because a famous ship sank, but because the disaster changed maritime safety and left a lasting human memory. The tragedy of Titanic became a powerful lesson for the maritime world. Its legacy can be seen in the safety standards, communication systems, and emergency procedures that protect passengers at sea today. Titanic began its voyage as a symbol of confidence and progress. Its fate showed the world that even the greatest achievements of technology cannot remove every risk. History remembers both the ambition and the lessons. The story of Titanic has survived for more than a century. Its photographs, documents, wreck, and the memories of those connected to the voyage continue to tell a story that the world has never forgotten. Titanic was more than a ship. It represented an era of extraordinary ambition and a reminder that progress must always be accompanied by caution, preparation, and respect for the forces of nature. Today, Titanic's story lives on in museums, archives, books, and documentaries around the world. Every artifact helps preserve a small piece of a journey that changed maritime history forever. More than a century has passed since Titanic's final voyage, yet its story remains powerful because it reminds us of human ambition, human vulnerability, and the importance of learning from the past. The legacy of Titanic reaches far beyond the ship itself. Its disaster helped inspire changes that made ocean travel safer for generations to come. Modern ships now rely on advanced navigation, communication, and emergency systems that would have seemed unimaginable in 1912. But technology is only part of the story. At its heart, Titanic was a story about people. People with families, dreams, and lives that were forever connected to one unforgettable voyage. Remembering Titanic is also about remembering those who never returned home and the families whose lives were changed forever. Titanic's story teaches a simple lesson. Human achievement can be extraordinary, but preparation, humility, and safety must never be forgotten.
More than 100 years later, the ocean is still crossed every day. But the lessons of Titanic remain part of the history of every modern voyage. Deep beneath the Atlantic, the wreck remains a silent reminder of that night. The ship is slowly becoming part of the ocean, but its story continues to live above the surface. Thank you for watching Historivox. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe for more stories that shaped our world.